Good morning, sports racers from Stewart, Virginia. It's October 27th, 2006. Knowledge has just made a giant sandwich, and it's No Meat Friday.
Dang, Zombie, you better than me doing that intro. You keep that there up, I'm gonna have to get me a new job, maybe down to Jivy Lube. It's a travel day today, sports racers, and I'm about to get my ass kicked out of this hotel. Despite the fact that I just argued for 1/2 hour to get my checkout time extended by 1/2 hour. You don't know who I am? I'll give you a hint. Asshole. No, not you. Fine, but I'm taking the fancy soaps and the shoe mitten. Grab your nanas, it's Ride the Fire Eagle Danger Day. Australia's senior Muslim cleric is under fire for saying that women who don't wear headscarves invite rape. At a recent sermon, he said, if you take out uncovered meat and place it outside on the street or in the garden or in the park or in the backyard without a cover and the cats come and eat it, whose fault is it, the cats or the uncovered meat? The uncovered meat is the problem. It sounds like your neighborhood has a bit of a cat problem. In my neighborhood, the ASPCA goes out and neuters wild cats to keep the population under control. As for the uncovered meat, if it turns out that it's carrying a steak knife and some pepper spray and messes that cat up, I'll assume you'll grant me that that's the cat's fault. Ladies, with crap like that being said in a place of worship, it might be time to take that self-defense course. They offer them cheap at the Y. Do it. ExxonMobil posted a $10.49 billion profit last quarter, the second largest in history by an American company. The largest quarterly profit was also posted by ExxonMobil. Way to go, free market, hitting us where it hurts. If you're worrying about what's happening in Iraq, don't. It's all under control. On Tuesday, General Casey told reporters that troop increases were a possibility in Baghdad. On Wednesday, he issued a clarification saying, quote, there is no intent to bring more U.S. troops into Iraq at this time. On Tuesday, the Bush administration said that U.S. and Iraqi leaders had agreed to craft guidelines and timetables towards progress in Iraq. On Wednesday, the Iraqi Prime Minister disavowed those comments, saying the benchmarks merely reflected campaign season pressures in the U.S. See, it's under control. Yesterday, the president defended the war once again, saying, if we leave, they will follow us here. Of course, if we stay, they don't have as far to travel. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, seen here making the worst peace sign ever, got pissy with reporters yesterday, saying, you ought to just back off, take a look at it, relax, and understand that it's complicated. It's difficult. We're looking into the future. No one can predict the future with absolute certainty. Having been pretty good at predicting too close to call elections before, President Bush predicted that the Republicans would remain in control of both the House and the Senate. How sure is he? In a recent press conference, White House spokesman Tony Fratto was asked about reports that the president refuses to engage in any strategic planning to deal with the possibility of a Democratic takeover. Mr. Fratto replied, I think the president has been very clear that he's preparing for a Congress that has Republican leadership, and that's the way we'll continue to proceed. It's the only way to proceed. Asked why the president wouldn't consider planning for both alternatives, Fratto said, we're still in the game, and if you're in the game, you're in it to win. The reporter, obviously an undercover sports racer, responded by saying, government isn't a game, and you are governing, and so your responsibility is to prepare for how to govern regardless of how it turns out. So it may be a game in the political sense, but it's really not a game to Americans who want their government to be ready to do what needs to be done. Smack! Mr. Fratto replied, he'll be ready. See? It's under control. Have a great weekend, sports racers, and remember, those pumpkins aren't going to carve themselves.